Well, let's talk about the man he beat in the final, Gerwyn Price, a third trip to a final in Minehead, two in the UK Open and one in the Players' Championship, and he's now lost all three, losing 11-9 to Van Gerwen to join that 11-9 loss in the Players' Championship final a few months ago, and of course the 11-6 loss to Peter Wright in 2017 at the UK Open. But what does this match mean now for Price and Van Gerwen? Is this now the biggest rivalry in darts?
Oh, it's an interesting one. I think we spoke about this towards the end of last year when Gerwyn Price finally got that first win against Michael van Gerwen at the Grand Slam, and then they had that very close final in the Players' Championship finals. There was a lot of talk going into the World Championship that those two were the best players in the world. It was going to be a final between those two, and in the end, it was Peter Wright who beat both of them to lift the World Championship for the first time. But we've seen them go up against each other a few times this year. This was the first big televised meeting that we've seen from them this year. Ironically, they're going to be playing each other in the Premier League this week in Liverpool. But again, Michael van Gerwen's come out on top, and I want to point out one of the tweets that was doing the rounds on Sunday evening, Chris Hammer from Sporting Life, who mentioned that the last 9 meetings between the two players is 77-74 in legs in Michael van Gerwen's favour. And for me, that does show you how close the rivalry is between the two. Okay, the overall record doesn't make for great reading for Gerwyn Price. He's only won 2 times, but the last 4 meetings is 2-2, and for me that shows that the two, there is going to be maybe a rivalry between them. That even when Gerwyn Price is losing these games, it's not by very much, is it? And we look at the final at the weekend, 5-1 up, made a brilliant start, and then from 5-1 I've got down, he went 2 from 18 on the doubles, and at that point he's 10-7 down, made a good comeback to get it back to 10-9, had a dart at the ball to level it up at 10-all, but in the end I think the damage was done in that period between leg 7 and 17. Missed so many darts at doubles. There was a lot of chances he had, and if he puts away maybe half of those chances, I think he'd have comfortably walked away with the title. But it'll be disappointing for him, but I think he'll take a lot from the weekend and a lot from the start of the year, because he's picked up a few titles. He's consistently performing very well, and even when he's putting in a poor performance, maybe a performance not to the level we expect, he comes back with another big performance. You know, he lost in the Premier League on the Thursday. The following day, he's putting in a 104 average to wipe away Danny Nopp at 10-3. So he's getting good at, when he is putting in a poor performance, putting it to one side and coming back strong. And I think he'll do that after this final as well. I'm pretty sure we're going to see him in some more big finals, and we're going to see him pick up some more titles this year.
Yeah, and I mean, I think there's 3 matchups that we can say are the biggest rivalry right now, and they're the top 3 players in whatever order you want to put them. But if you look over the past year, since the start of, well, I should say a little more than a year now, since the start of 2019, when Gerwyn Price really did emerge as one of the top players in the game, and Peter Wright, especially more in the middle of the year, but we'll go back to the beginning of the year just for statistical purposes, when Peter Wright reemerged last summer. The one that's the closest head-to-head is Wright against Price. Price has won 4 times, Wright 3 times. And you mentioned, of course, the World Championship semifinal, where Wright just blew him away on the way to winning his first world title. But he also beat him in the Champions League of Darts, and then beat him in a final just a couple weekends ago in Wigan. So he's got it over him a couple times in big matchups, and once, of course, in a final. Also losing to him, getting steamrolled by him in the final in Wolverhampton back in November. But that's the closest of those 3, with 4 wins to Price, 3 to Wright. If you look at Van Gerwen against Price, as you mentioned, the last 4 have been split, but those are the first 2 wins that Gerwyn Price has had overall in the past 13 months. It's 7 wins to the world number 1, with 2 to Price and 1 draw. Van Gerwen leads Peter Wright 8 wins to 3. Obviously, though, Wright has that huge one in the World Championship final. That one's worth all 8 defeats plus a bunch more. And easily could have had another one. Should have won the Champions League of Darts final. Who knows? If he won that one, it could be 7-4 right now. But I don't think we can separate any one of these and say that they're the biggest rivalry, at least right now, because these 3 players are consistently playing at the highest level. They're the 3 players who, entering any given weekend, you expect to win a title, or expect to be in with every chance to win a title. And yes, other players will pick up the odd title, but the big ones are going to be won by these 3 players. At least most of them will. That's why Van Gerwen was able to beat Wright in the final here. Wright, of course, beat Van Gerwen in the final not that long ago in the World Championship. And Price beat Wright in Wolverhampton. In fact, the last 4 ranking majors, two of these 3 players have made the final. I don't think we can say any one is the biggest rivalry, but these 3 right now, as a trio, are the biggest rivalry in darts. And if this past weekend, in the past few months, or anything to go by, it's only going to hot up as we go forward. We're in a great position, and yeah, so I'm going to say, so to answer the question, no, it's not, because these 3 are.